Hi everyone, I'm Sandy from Scissors in the City. I'm going to be making a card box. It's from PhotoPlay, and inside the card box will be 3 cards. So you'll find the items to make the card box in your goodie bag. It's the card box from PhotoPlay. You'll need a ruler, bone folder, scissors, score tape, adhesive, and the paper from, it is Carta Bella's Sweet Garden. To begin, we'll take our card box out of the package. So all we need is this. All the other pieces are for the cards. The other thing we do need is a trimmer that I forgot to mention. So if you take your green paper, I'm going to trim off the ID strip. Now everything you can cut out of one 12 by 12 piece of paper. Now you'll notice on the back is some pretty flowers. And we're going to begin by trimming 1 3/4 off of the right edge. And just set that side aside. Now the top of my box is flowers. So I want my flowers to be this way, not this way. So we'll insert our paper up to the edge. And then I'm going to trace. Oh, we also need a pencil. Sorry. We're going to insert our paper up to the edge, and then I'm going to trace. Now, I know where that is. I'm going to trim right to the point. I'm going to set that aside for now. We're going to need to do some fussy cutting on that, but as long as we have our trimmer out, I need piece cut at 4 3/8. Again, well, this pattern won't matter because we're going to use the green side, but we'll go 4 3/8. And then we need another one that's 4 3/8. And this piece is extra. Now we have 4 3/8 here. We need it to be 4. And this is extra. And because I'm using the green, I didn't worry about matching patterns. And then this first cut is 5 1/2. And this is extra. So this will be our back piece, and then this piece is going to be our front piece, but it also has some fussy cutting that you need to do. So I just laid it on here. Laying it halfway in there. And I traced that. Now you will notice on the inside of your directions, they do have some shapes that you can cut out if you find that's easier. So then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this. Go ahead and look, and I'm happy with the way that turned out. So that's my back, and that is my front. And let's go ahead and use our sides here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you on the front side, but then I'm going to move it to the back. This is going to be placed about like that. I'm going to have a little white edge all the way around. So I'm going to put this in underneath. I'm going to line up my edges. Even though that there will be an edge around, that's okay. And then I'm going to draw my line to cut. And this time, because I want to get a straight cut all the way across, I'm going to use a bigger scissor. And then that should fit perfect. And then I'm going, since this was here, now I'm going to do the other side. After I have my first cut, and that looks great, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put my two green sides together, line them up, and cut again. So I will have one for here and one for here. So I have my sides. And now I need to fussy cut this piece. I'm going to take my trimmer, let me cut this off so you can see what I'm doing. Where we came in there, I'm going to place that on my trimmer. I think I'm going to line up like that. And then this piece will fit there. Now it's a little longer than I need, so I'm going to trim a little bit more off. This part's just kind of trial by error. It's getting there. I want to trim a little bit more, because I want to leave a little white edge all the way around. See my little white edge? There, I'm happy with that. And what we need to do between this bump, we want to cut that off. See how that's not connected? It's hard to fold paper over a score line. So I'm going to just trim it right there. And right here. So now this piece will go in the middle here. And because I want to leave a little white edge, I'm going to have to trim a little bit off on both of those edges. So about 1/8 of an inch on both sides. So there, that looks nice. Now I have my corners, or my sides. Yes, and just play with it until you are happy with how it fits. So, I like the way that is there. Now I'm happy with the way that looks. So what I'm going to do is take my other one and match them up and then trim it so it's the same. So then I have my two sides. And there's one more cut that we need to do. And that goes there. So again, I want to match up my designs here. So a little bit's trimmed off because we made it a little shorter so that we'd have our little white border. Well, we want it about like that. And I'm just going to do a little pencil mark here and here. So let's trim that. And then that'll fit there, along with this one here. And now I don't want to trim it here. I want to trim it on the back side because you're going to see that, and I want it to look as close as possible. I'm going to cut probably an eighth. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that's almost a quarter. And I'm happy with the way that fits. Okay, so we've got that. Alright, so let's do some folding. So we'll open up our box. And we'll do some burnishing. So fold on all the score lines. And let's burnish them. And let's go the other direction. That's what I'm going to go as I fold. All right. So, as I said in some of the other videos, it's easier to adhere paper when it's flat. So that's what I'm going to do next. Find the piece with the curve on it, and that's going to go just like so. I'm going to use some 3-in-1. I like the liquid adhesive part of it because then it allows me some squiggle room. This piece we do not put anything on. Next we're going to use our, I think it was 4x6, no it's 4 3/8 by 5.5. Again, you want just a little white edge around it. put on our sides. And we'll do the flap. And then my last piece. And go there. So now we need to assemble. And this is the way it's going to be assembled. So we need to put this on the inside so that when we insert the cards, they don't get hung up on this. I'm going to switch and use some score tape because it adheres instantly. If I can find the edge. There we go. And I'll do that to both sides. Removing the backing off of that. I bring this up. I'm going to keep it flat on the table so that it's square. And again, put it down so it's flat, and then bring that up. And now we're going to put adhesive here, but I can't have it higher than that. So you know what? Let's put it there. That way I won't go too high by accident. And then I'm going to remove the backing. And this time I'm going to leave it on the table like so and bring up this side. There again, it helps me make the square. And then we're going to do the same over here. So I took off the backing, left it flat on the table, and bring up the side. So now we have the base of our box. We're going to do basically the same thing on the top. We're going to put adhesive here. Adhesive on the other one. Well, I can get it all flat. Now we're going to take off the backing and then bring this up, and it should cover up that. And do the same to the other side. And there's your box. The only thing left we have to do is to put our little knob on it. And this you need a strong adhesive. I do like the Beacons 3-in-1. Wanted it centered about 1/4 of an inch. Measure that. It's about 3/8 of an inch from the point. Like that. Okay, while that's drying, let's go ahead and get our cards out. These are the patterns I selected. They're a little different than the first time I made it. So let's start with that card. We need our trimmer, and we're going to trim this piece to 4 by 5 1/4. And the piece on the top will be 3 1/4 by 4 1/8. And you need a card base. And again, we fold, we look at our mountain, and that goes on the inside of the fold. And then adhere, I adhered this flat onto my card base. And I left a white edge around it all so that it's centered. And then I just put this one on flat. I did not pop it up. And I centered that. And for this one I use the T. Obviously you can use whatever you want. And this one I did use some dimensionals on the back of it. And I centered it here. And then you have some ribbon, and I just tied a bow. I didn't do any trimming off. I just tied a bow starting on the one end. Center a little smaller. And I'm going to grab my beacons again and use that to adhere my bow. Place that right on there. need something to hold that down for now, so that one's done. We'll set it aside. And then our next card, let's do this one. Need to trim our paper, and you can use whatever papers you want on your little 6x6 paper pad. I did this one 4 by 5 1/4. And this paper is 3 by 4. I believe I already cut this to 3. I need it by 4. I need another card base. And our mountain goes on the inside. And this one has a little white edge around this one too. So center that on your front. And then we're just mount that on here. I think I popped this one up. I'm going to make this a little different because I don't have any white paper. This original one was bordered that way. Start this one over after I'd adhered it to there. And for the ribbon on this one, I'm going to punch 2 holes about 1/4 inch apart. I use the 1/8 inch punch. Actually, what I want to do is make sure I'm in the right place. Okay, so here's center. I want to go about like that. So they're about a 1/4 inch apart, about a little better than a 1/4 inch high off the one edge. Then our ribbon, we're going to take about 6 inches. And I am going to start from the top and go into the one hole, and go in the other hole. And then when I pull it to the back side, I want my ends the same. And this is just paper, so don't get too heavy-handed there and pull too tight. Then I'm going to cross them. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to come up in this other hole. So it came out the back side of the one hole, then it's got to go in the other one. I think I'm going to cut that on a point to help me get in that hole. And do the same thing for the other side. And then I'm going to trim my tails here. So your ribbon looks like that. And then I put dimensionals on the back. And then center that on your card. And then fussy cut your B and center that on your card also. Okay. So that's that one. And our last one is our J. This one I went all the way to the edge. And so that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the back backing for the letter is 3 1/4 by 4 1/8. And I just eyeball it somewhere between the 4 and the 4 1/4. So again, use your card base. I've lost my bone folder somewhere here. And I'm going to adhere this on. Make sure my butterflies, I guess they go upside down, so I'm going to put it this way since these seem a little more prominent. Put that on. And then I want the ribbon wrapped around this. So I'm going to take whatever leftover ribbon I have, and that's going to go in the middle. So I lay that on. I didn't do that so good. Let's try that again. That's better. And then I popped up the J also. Let me just put a little adhesive there to make it easier. And I'm going to center this on my paper. Now I also popped up this because once you get the bow on there, it's kind of, it sticks up, so we need to give it some dimension. Grab my card, and I want this centered on there. And now I can tie my bow. details. So there you have it. There's the two different ones. I use different backgrounds. And there you go. And then those will fit in your card box along with the envelopes. You were given some jewels. If you want to put some jewels on there, go right ahead. And then my envelopes. And there you go. Cards inside.